Greetings, my fellow YouTubians.
This is Michelle.
I was supposed to go first. And this is Ned, and we are Philippine Dreams. Hey, Michelle.
What?
I was thinking the other day about what the most important thing I brought over with me from the United States to the Philippines was. And do you know what I finally came up with?
I know!
What?
Cargo shorts.
No, not cargo shorts, although cargo shorts are very important, especially the ones with lots of pockets, and the ones that dry easily, because sometimes we get, rain squalls and whatnot. It's good to have something that dries quickly. So, no, not cargo shorts.
How about passport?
Passport, yeah, you definitely need a passport to get in the country, but that's something you could lose after a while and you can get it easily replaced. And that's something you don't really need to stay here super long term, so not really passport.
Antibiotics?
Ouch. Antibiotics, yes, this is basically a living, breathing petri dish here in the Philippines. I've had quite a few run-ins with cuts and abrasions and sea urchins, but no, not antibiotics.
Oh. Okay, let me think. Tank tops?
Tank tops, now you're just making fun of me. No, not tank tops. Although as a Westerner, it's really comfortable to wear as little clothing as possible, short of wearing a thong. Although I have pushed that threshold once or twice. So not really threshold. No, actually, the answer that I finally came up with, in all seriousness, was a positive attitude. I truly believe, after being here for only a short while, a little over 7 months, that your attitude is the most important thing. Winston Churchill, the great statesman, once said that attitude is a small thing, but it makes a really big difference. Having the proper attitude, having the proper mindset, coming to a different country, something that's totally different, is incredibly important. And to successfully stay here for a long period of time, you really have to have that positive attitude. You have to accept that things are different here. Things are extremely different here in some ways. And it's something that you have to get used to. You have to adapt. We have to do the changing. The country's not going to change because of our demands or our whims, our expectations. It's not going to happen. So we're the people that have to adapt to this. The onus of responsibility is upon our shoulders. You have to get used to different things, like time is different here. Somebody will say, hey, I'll meet you at 1 o'clock. It's basically Filipino time. That's flexible. If somebody says, be there at 1 o'clock, show up at 1:30. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there. I wasn't used to it. So when I got here, I was always the guy who has to be early. So I was there 10 minutes late. It was 40 minutes before anybody else showed up. I thought I was getting stood up. I was getting all upset, all stressed out. And again, it wasn't everybody else. It was me. So that's one of the things that you have to get used to. Driving here for a Westerner can be a little bit of an ordeal. Things are done differently here. The rules, the traffic rules, are a little more flexible than they are in the United States or any other Western country. If you've been in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, you've probably experienced this. People are going to cut you off. People aren't going to signal. People are just going to pull out in front of you. It's going to happen. And again, it's the way things are here. There's no rigid traffic enforcement programs or anything. There's no real driver's education. So it's something you have to adapt to. And it's funny, when I first got here, I tell this story many times. I've ridden motorcycles before. When I was younger, I used to ride a lot. And so when I was coming into intersections here, and there's also no stop signs and no traffic signals. And if you're not attuned to the little flow that the Filipinos have, they have this little system that they use when they're going through intersections. So I was always the one hesitating, or I was the one going and hesitating and stopping. And I was messing the whole flow up. And you could tell, the Filipinos would look at you and be like, another foreigner who's new and hasn't figured things out here. Queuing up in line can be a bit of an ordeal. Sometimes people are going to cut ahead of you. It's just the way it is. You're not a ghost. You're not a spirit. They see you. But sometimes, I guess people are in more of a rush to get to the head of the line than other people. And they're going to cut ahead of you. A lot of times it's elderly people. And the way this, the society here and the culture here is structured, they're kind of entitled to that. It's kind of a benefit of lasting 70, 80, sometimes 90 years here. So that's something we have to get used to. When you go out shopping, a lot of times things are going to be out of stock. It's just the way it is. Sorry, sir, out of stock. You're going to hear that time and time again. And we have to accept that. We're not going to be able to change the inventory system or the corporate policies of the Philippines, okay? It is the way it is. We're going to talk about Bahala now in a little bit. But the country is the way it is. We can't have much of an effect on it. What we can do is change our behaviors and change the way we react and the way we accept this. One of the things you're going to notice when you first get here is you're going to hear a lot of foreigners complaining. A lot of foreigners whining, bitching, moaning about this, that, and everything. And I can understand people having to vent. And I can understand, doing that in that context. But when you see them time and time again, and they repeat the same stuff over and over again, you gotta, start questioning whether the problem is the country or the person who's unable to adapt to it. It's not easy. And I am no paradigm of it, believe me. Even though every day I try to, accept these things and slow myself down and breathe and try to work on my attitude of gratitude and stuff, I still get flustered. I still get frustrated. The heat, the humidity, and all that stuff just contributes to it. And it can make you short. It can make you snappish. And sometimes you snap at people that you don't want to snap at, right, Michelle?
Yes. Yes.
Apologies for that. So again, one of the things that I do to deal with it, and some other guys that I've talked to, we develop what we try to, develop is an attitude of gratitude, appreciating all the things that we've had, not just the stuff that we have or the resources that we have, but the opportunities that we've had. That's first and foremost. Appreciating what you have in that type of context. And also appreciating that here you're going to have opportunities that you're not going to have anywhere else. You're not going to be, in the U.S., you can't always say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go on an adventure today. I'm going to go see the whale sharks in Oslo, or I'm going to go see the falls up at Kawasan. Or maybe when the rainy season's over, we'll go see the rice terraces, one of the 7 man-made wonders of the world, I believe. So we have a lot of opportunities here. And that's one of the things that you can focus on. And also, when a lot of times when I get really flustered and my quota of the Philippines is fulfilled for the day, I try to focus on the fact that I'm living, something that other people only dream of, being able to move to a tropical country like this with white sand beaches, palm trees, and all the stuff that comes with it, all the accoutrements. I'm living something that other people only dream of. So that's one of the things that I have to appreciate, and that's one of the things that I have to be grateful for. And finally, the two techniques that I use, or I try to use, it's a work in progress, is the concept of Bahala Na. And basically, Bahala Na means what, Michelle?
Whatever it is, it is.
Whatever it is, it is. Or in the U.S., I think we call it, it is what it is. It's accepting things for what they are. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's all in God's hand.
Yeah, it's all in God's hands. Whatever. It is what it is. So again, when I'm going out on a mission to buy something, because I have to have it because it's a first world problem, and I get there and it's out of stock, and they say, oh, go over here and it's out of stock there, and I go somewhere else and it's all out of stock, and I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall, I focus on the Bahala Na. It's like, okay, whatever, it's in God's hands. It's not here today, maybe it'll be here tomorrow. And if it's not there tomorrow, maybe next week. All right, I don't have a whole lot on my plate here, so I got time tomorrow to go look for it again or go somewhere else. Again, accepting the country, and in that case, inventory systems and shopping, for what it is. You're not going to be able, the instant gratification that we experience in the West, you got to learn the delayed gratification. You got to learn to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to get it today, so maybe tomorrow. And again, a lot of times we're spoiled by that instant gratification in the West. We can get whatever we want. We click the mouse, we walk out the door, we go to Walmart, we go to Target, and they just have, massive amounts of stock. And finally, the Zen. You know, focusing on the moment, trying to stay in the moment, not being too worried about yesterday because, you know, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a gift. That's why they call it the present. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a good one. But staying in the moment. Focusing, sometimes it can get bad, and you just got to, you know, focus on your breathing and just slow yourself down. Take some deep breaths, step aside, you know, look out into the, you know, the vista and the beautiful horizons and whatnot. Wait for the sunset and expect the sunrise in the morning. And so those are the things that you got to focus on. You got to stay in the moment. You got to, you know, accept it for what it is. You got to maintain your attitude of gratitude, and try to keep it in the moment as much as possible, appreciating each and every little thing you have. And tomorrow's going to be another day. So again, the most important thing that you can bring to the Philippines isn't money, isn't your passport, isn't your, you know, CD collection or your movie collection, or, you know, what type of phone or any of that stuff. It's the attitude that we bring with us. Because again, like Winston Churchill said, it's a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. And if you're going to adapt here, and if you're going to be successful here, and if you're going to be happy here, you got to have that. And I'm not saying by any means that I have it. All right, it's something that I'm working on, and I have to work on it each and every day. And luckily, I got a minion here who will remind me every now and then to, you know, well, to chill out and to take a breath, and again to focus on the day, to focus on the time, and to appreciate what I got. So that's it. An attitude of gratitude, appreciating what you got, and bringing that positive attitude to the Philippines. This is Philippine Dreams, signing out. We'll see you next time. Peace.